Hello everybody. We are less than a week away from the Atlanta Culture Collision Show. Today I'm going to be talking about 3 things I'm really looking to see from this card show. Stick around. Hello to all my sports card collectors, investors, all of my collectibles friends. How is everybody doing? We've made it to the weekend, and next weekend we've got the Atlanta Culture Collision Sports Card Show. I will be there. I'm heading over there with the family, and I'm excited to see this because this has been talked about as more of an entertainment type show, not necessarily just a regular old card show with some additional stuff going on. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. We're about 50 subscribers away from 14,000. I'd love to get there over the next couple of days. That would be awesome. So if you could help me out and just hit that subscribe. We do come out with pretty much daily sports card collectibles type videos, and we love it. So thank you very much for joining me here today. All right, number 1 out of this show, I am looking for energy. Hey babe, I'm right making a video. Can I call you right back?
Sure.
Thanks. I'll have to edit this part out.
Or you can leave it in.
All right, maybe I'll leave it in. All right, the first thing that I want to see at this show is energy. Last big show that I went to was the National in July of last year. Was awesome, amazing experience. I went with my wife, met a lot of hobby people, whether it be viewership or other content creators, and had an absolute blast. But one thing I will say about that particular show is it was a regular type card show in the sense that not a lot of, some entertainment type stuff. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they did have certain events, all sorts of kind of different events. They had signings, they had breaking events. But I guess what I mean is things that are outside of what you would see at a regular sports card show. And so I'm excited to see what Culture Collision kind of brings to that on the show floor. You know, is there going to be music playing? Is there going to be, different types of events? Just interesting things. I know that they're going to do a basketball game. There's going to be a basketball court. There's going to be teams. There's going to be a basketball court on the actual show floor, which is interesting. That's...
Oh, man. It's the same injury you had last year. Hey! You guys play here too?
Weird.
I was just out and about. Thought I'd see if anybody wants to play some round ball.
Just something different. And I'm not necessarily picky on what those things are, but just kind of seeing what innovations they bring to the table and just the feel and the energy of this particular show. And I do like the fact as well that it is a full collectible show. So there's going to be comic books. There's going to be probably video games. There's going to be all sorts of different types of collectibles, coins, etc. that are going to be represented in this exhibit hall. And so I'm excited to see kind of all that coming together in a large space. Because I've been to, again, like the National large card show. And while there are some other collectibles there, it's mainly sports cards, which is awesome. Don't get me wrong, but this is kind of tying it all together. So I'm excited to see some of the variety. That brings me to number 2. I'm excited to see variety of different sports cards. There's a lot of talk, especially over the last couple of years with different content creation about, vintage cards versus modern cards. There's been a lot of emphasis on ultra modern basketball cards just because of the excitement around NBA, the bubble, the new rookies coming out a couple of years ago, whether we're talking about Trae Young or Luka Doncic or Zion or Ja Morant, etc. You've had a lot of excitement around the NBA, but the fact of the matter is that the card market is massive. There's a lot of product out there, all different types of sports, non-sports, all of it. So what I'm excited to see is just a big variety of stuff, because usually, you go to a show and it's like, wow, this was like 70% vintage, 30% modern, or it was 80% modern, 20% vintage. What I would like to see is just a nice mix of that. And I do think that that's really important for dealers moving forward to have a good mix, unless you are a well-established vintage dealer and that's what you're known for. You already have a book of business. You already have clientele that are looking to you at shows and at your shop for vintage cards, or maybe it's ultra-modern basketball cards or whatever, and that's your niche and you've built that. But if you're somebody that's fairly new coming in and just kind of adapting to the card market as it evolves, I do think that having knowledge on other types of cards, non-sports cards, and other types of sports. I think that's going to be really important for card shop owners, for people that are trying to sell cards at shows, and then also kind of the mini dealers like us. You know, we are essentially mini dealers where we're buying and selling cards. And so having a nice variety is going to be important. And this is outside of what you're collecting, PC collecting. So let me make that distinction. You know, when we talk about buying and selling cards, that's in this bucket. And then there's also PC stuff. I have, you know, Drew Brees cards that are really long-term PC. I'm not buying Drew Brees cards to flip them in 6 months or whatever. I'm just kind of, you know, stockpiling them. I'm a huge New Orleans Saints fan. So we're differentiating. You know, we are the hybrids of the industry. You know, there's always the collector investor debate. We're not getting into all that because I believe that most people are a combination of the two. And so we're talking about the buying selling bucket. We're talking about the collecting bucket. So in the buying selling bucket, to really get a good grasp on all the different offerings, a lot of the different types of sports, non-sports card offerings that there are. Lastly, number 3, building on existing hobby relationships and making new ones. You know, I'm excited to go out there and meet up with Mike and Jesse of Sports Card Nonsense. I did a live with Brad, Comeback Card Investor, on Off-Centered with them a few weeks back with Mike, and it was great. We had a lot of fun. I have not met him in person, and Jesse will be there as well, so I'm excited to meet those guys and kind of build on that. And that's kind of you know, whether we're talking about just personal relationships and also business relationships, it's great to meet people face to face. And so all of the content creators that, you know, I watch all the time, I will be looking for them in Atlanta if I've not met them in person yet. I think that's important, you know, just kind of building on that. And the same goes for viewership. You know, at these bigger shows, you do have an opportunity to meet viewership that do watch the channel and do kind of, you know, pay attention to what you're doing. And that's fun. And it's good to build on those types of relationships as well. So if you are in Atlanta, I hope to see you, hope to catch up with as many of you as we can. And then also just build on existing relationships. That's what this hobby family is all about. That's really what it is. And when we're talking about buying, selling cards, and we're talking about collecting specific cards, especially when you're getting into really niche stuff or rare cards, a lot of times the only way that you're going to have access to a specific card is if you know somebody, you know a collector who knows a collector who knows a collector, or an investor that knows a collector, or a collector who knows an investor, blah, blah, blah. And you're able to get access to those particular cards. Because let's face it, when you get into the world of more rare cards, and it doesn't matter which player that is or which sport it is, they can be very difficult to find. You're not going to just pop on, you know, and find it. It's not a Luca Prism PSA 10 2018 where you've got 10,000, 20,000 of them or whatever. You know, once you start to get into the more rare stuff, it's really important to build those relationships so you have access to cards that you're looking for. So building those relationships is critical to it. So guys, are you going to be in Atlanta? Let me know in the comments. I will be doing footage. I will be doing, you know, some of the vloggy type stuff. I am no Sasha T or Card Collector 2 vlogger. I'm not, but I'll do my best, and I will have you know, family there to be camera people. So I might be able to do some different things. We'll see. I'm excited about the show. Guys, have an amazing rest of your day. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.